he will be telling you the rules. So Arush will be starting with this. And we will send you the Google form for the answers for the prelims, and please fill in your details first so that you can just add the answers later. Should we go ahead, Arush?
Before we go ahead, just some acknowledgements. People we're really thankful and grateful to. First of all the people who contributed to the questions for this set. That would be Arush, Arjo, Bharat, Devika, Divya, Christy, Prashansa, Shreyasi, Shruti, Tejaswini, and myself. And also major thanks to Jeevanesh, Romana, and Tanisha for ensuring that the logistics end of all the things is well sorted out. Yeah, so these were the acknowledgements. We're good to go. Let's begin the prelims.
Right, can we show the rules? So there are 20 questions, 16 to 20 are part questions and have 2 points each. Some of these, you can look at the question numbers yourselves, are star mark questions. So keep an eye out for those and they'll be used to resolve ties. In case the star mark questions are also showing a tie, then a sudden death method will be used. And please don't Google, please don't use any other unfair practices. And please keep your cameras on at all times. We will be able to tell if you have Googled. Don't do that. It really ruins it for everybody and the enjoyment. I hope there are no other doubts about the rules. I think we can move on.
Before we start, can everyone turn on their cameras? I can still see a few people in the meeting whose cameras are turned off. So all the participants are requested.
Everybody
to turn on their cameras.
has access to the Google form as well, right? Yeah, it's in the chat.
May I have 2 minutes, please? I'm filling up the form. 2 minutes, just 2 minutes.
We'll wait another minute. Just everybody have your form open. Right, I think that's enough time for everybody to open. So let's start the quiz. Right, so the first question, which is star mark, you can see. EV pickup is a phenomenon in the United Kingdom that involves surges in demand on the electrical grid, causing large synchronized surges in national electricity consumption. Electricity networks devote considerable resources to predict and providing supply for these events, which typically impose an extra demand of around 100 to 400 megawatts on the British national grid. Now, grid employees must also be familiar with popular soap opera storylines, as one might cause a sudden rise in demand. Owing to this, they're aware of what shows attract the largest audiences and of the customers' television choices. So I want you to tell me, what is the reason for this sudden increase in the electrical grid, aside from obviously the televisions being plugged on? So focus on what could be the reason why there is a sudden increase and why employees must also be familiar with soap opera storylines.
Question. So here, are you looking for a general phenomenon or a very specific?
It's general. It's quite general, but focus on basically the country being talked about. Specific to that country.
So there are actually two answers for this. You want both, or which one do you want?
I want you to give me the funda behind why there is an
It's
increase.
the same funda for both answers.
Right. Anybody has no objections, I think we can move on to the next question. Right. So coming off a terrible performance in Game 5 of the 2022 NBA Western Conference semifinals, a player had a stellar performance in Game 6 and helped his team win the match and consequently the series. This performance was in line with the tendency of performing especially well in Game 6 matches. After the next match, the player in question posted the following images on his Instagram as a fitting reference to something from the world of Mela. Now, I don't want you to give me the player. I want you to tell me what these images are a reference to from the world of Mela. If we can show the images now. So these are the images this player in question posted on his story. What are these a reference to? Again, I don't want the player.
You want one keyword or like?
Sorry?
You want a single keyword like or a set of keywords of like that?
Whatever, just write the reference. It's a very, if you know the answer, then you'll know what it's referring to.
Okay.
On this question, there's an obvious common link to the three pictures on the next slide. We don't want that. We want a Mela reference that would connect the three pictures. So please do keep that in mind.
Show the images again, and then we can move on. Right. So horrendous ancient Greek punishment is one of the most gruesome torture techniques in history. The offender is placed inside a vessel and then scorched to death. Unlike other techniques, this one involves the torture of two beings, one the offender and the other had to derive the said vessel. Their body, when recovered, would shine like metals in quartz and was made in dashes, which is 8 letters. So there are two parts to this. I want the punishment and I want you to fill in the blank. So what is this horrendous ancient Greek punishment? And what would be in the blank? Focus on the part given in quotes to get to the blank. Also, there are variations that we'll accept for the first part of this answer.
The blank is linked with the name, right?
I think we can move on to the next question. Right, we're going to show you a video now, a clip from Stranger Things. And in the clip, you'll see one of the characters being strangled by a bat-like creature. What pop culture reference from the early 80s is this an homage or a reference to?
There seems to be some problem with the video. I think let's move on to the next questions and we could come back to this question after we are done with the remaining question.
Right, so we'll come back to this one. This question is also star marked. So since the 1970s, the supermarket chain has been running an actual discount on a particular category of food, which saved quite a few lives in the first half of the 20th century. Since its origin, it has turned into a big campaign involving TV commercials, and other marketing campaigns around it. Aptly named after a European dance form, the ads feature a chorus line of animated women performing a step or two of the dance form in question. So the sale is named after the dance form in question. So I just want, what is the sale called? Or what is the dance form? If you're able to decipher what particular category of food, then you should be able to easily come to the dance form. Yeah, I think we can move on.
Before moving on, I would like to inform you guys that we also have a QR code on all of our slides. If anyone would like to contribute to the cause, we would be grateful if you could. So, question number 6. When a wildlife biologist went on deep sea dives, she often observed something really extraordinary. A group of certain marine mammals would take turns rubbing their bodies against corals and sea sponges along the seafloor. After observing this behavior for many years, the biologists' team discovered that the mammals have been doing this for a very specific purpose, and the same purpose or goal is observed in humans as well. So you could just focus on the action and the fact that this has been very famous among humans also, more in the past 1 or 2 years. We just need the noun for this. What purpose? We should move on to the next question. Question number 7. An Egyptian deity who is depicted as a mixture between human, crocodile, hippopotamus, and a lion. The combination of these three brutal animals of ancient Egyptian life depict the strength and ferocity of the deity along with the human in it. The same animals also create the form of the most terrifying ancient Egyptian monster, Ammit. Even though the composite animals are identical, Ammit is missing the human attribute, which could be a signifying characteristic that made Dash the deity that we want, and not a monster, because it had the human part too. A recent superhero franchise had this deity featured in the television miniseries. So we want the name of this Egyptian deity and the superhero franchise in which this was featured. franchise from last 2 months. If you focus on the animals in the combination, it should help you to reach the I think we can move on to question number 8. So, claimed to have no heroes in this late 80s DD national filler, the film ironically casted an actor as a minor character, appearing in only 4 scenes and speaking in only 2, who later in the coming decade rose to the peak of his career. The movie is claimed to be way ahead of its time as its plot revolves around the rebellious and resilient nature of the students, wherein fans have even claimed that the said film worked so that movies such as Three Idiots or Chichore could run. And also for the fact that this was one of the very few movies of its time to be written by a woman, where she acts as one of the main characters of the movie and sort of foreshadows her own future plans, her radicalism espousing a writer in the character she portrays. So we want the actor and the author, the woman author. If you guess one part, it might help you guess the other one too. And the fact that the actor was just starting out in the 80s, it should help. I think we can move on to the next question. Question number 9. So you'll be shown a video which is the result of a unique collaboration between 2 legendary personalities. Wait, like, is the video working? So this video is a unique collaboration between 2 legendary personalities. It is unique that in its production originally began in 1945, however ceased not long after. The film was ultimately completed and released in 2003, 58 years since its original conception. Asha, okay, so we're having a problem with the video questions. We'll get all of them at the end. Let's go on to question number 10. So we have 2 video questions which will be shown at the end. Can we move on to question 10? So a cartoonist named this famous caricature after a derogatory phrase used to refer to an ill-tempered woman. It plays on the subject's association with an accessory, which became an integral part of a public persona. We want the phrase, the derogatory phrase, and the subject of this caricature. If you look at the image closely, it should help you to guess the subject who is associated with this, and the phrase that refers to an ill-tempered woman. This is a star-marked question.
So you want a phrase and a
And the
personality
subject
which
also.
is subject to
Yes.
it points to this cartoon.
I think we can move on to question.
Yeah. Hello everyone. moving on to question 11. The practice of inking the faces of girls and inserting nose plugs at the time of their first period was followed by a particular northeastern tribe before this was banned by the government in 1970s. According to legend, it initially originated as a form of defense, but over the years it ended up becoming a tradition, and the decision of banning it by the government attracted mixed reaction from the people of the tribe. So I want what the practice was like. What was this practice supposed to be a defense against? Like how it originated. Also, if there is anyone who still has not turned on their cameras, please do. I think we can move on to the next question if there are no doubts. Okay, so this is question number 12. This year's Met Gala saw an iconic outfit worn by an American singer. Referencing to this year's theme quite literally, this peppy yellow piece was designed by an ex-Vogue editor known for her signature bridal collection. Recently, this designer was featured by a brand in their special tribute collection, and one of their products was customized to be modeled and to pay model to pay tribute to this entrepreneurial lady, becoming one of the only 4 people to be a placeholder in this collection. So I just need the name of the designer and the brand that featured her. Moving on to the next question. So sometimes all people need in their lives is honesty. This has been the ideas around various successful endeavors, and one such endeavor was that of a Saudi Arabia-based startup, which launched a service whose name literally translated to frankness in Arabic. It was launched in 2017 and it gained instant success and became immensely popular among people. And it is very similar to yeah, and it is similar to the popularity that a similar service has gained in the last month or so. Like it's very recent. And ironically, this 2017 service, which was talked about, could not sustain long because of suspicions due to data leaks. So I need names of both the services, the one that was a hit earlier and the one that is trending currently. And both are very similar to how they operate. Can we move on to question 14? Okay, question number 14. In late 1950s, a petition was circulated in a quite small town of Texas. And the residents of this not so happening town found themselves in this particular situation because of the name of the town and the fact that it shares its name with something that was very controversial and was released a few years back from then, like released around in the 50s. So, in fact, it was so much discussed and it was so controversial that closer home, the then Prime Minister had to step in personally and decide if it was morally fit for consumption of Indian consumers. So, which town or what was released in 1950s, which is being talked about? Basically, both is the same word, or just one proper noun would give you one.
When you're saying released a few years back, it's basically late 1940s is what you're referring to, right?
Not late 1940s. It's the whole thing with the town happened in late 1950s and just a few years back. So basically in 50s, not late 1940s, in the 50s.
So just to clarify, this is a one-word answer.
Yeah, it is a one-word answer. I think we can move on.
All right, so here's question number 15. The concept for a popular 2000s rock song comes from a painting of the same name. This painting, inspired by a 1940s painting, features four American celebrities who all suffered senseless deaths which could have been avoided, hence sharing a message which was similar to the original painting, the message being emptiness. Now, this was a perfect choice for inspiration as the song also touches on the same subject, the subjects of emptiness, estrangement, and the acceptance of the American dream letting people down. So, need two parts here. Tell me what this song is, a very famous song from the 2000s, and tell me what the 1940s painting is. A 1940s painting which one would associate with emptiness, and a very popular rock song from the 2000s. One of the themes in that song was the acceptance that the American dream can let people down as well. Don't think anybody has any doubts on this question. We can move on to the next question. Before that, another reminder, we have a QR code on the bottom, on the top right of the slides. If you like the questions, if you're enjoying this, and if you want to donate more, please feel free to donate more. Would help a great cause. Moving on to the next set of questions, question number 16. And do remember, these are two-parters, so you get 2 pointers. Be careful about that. Here's question 16.
Hi everyone, thank you for joining. So I'll start with the 16th question. Aptly called the Mark of the Beast, the watch in question was designed for an athlete with multiple Olympic golds to his name. The watch features 4 bridges on the face of the dial. While three of these bridges are functional, a fourth one was added for design purposes. Together, the four bridges depict something. So we need you to identify the athlete and the purpose of the design, the four bridges, and the image should be helpful for both the parts.
The first part could be a little misleading. So be aware that the design of the watch as well as the name of the watch, when you combine those two, use both the hints, that would lead you to the answer. If you're just going by the color of the watch, you might be misled. Just a word of caution.
Okay, I think we can move on to the next question now. A PSU established in the 1950s originally started as a machine tools manufacturing company. Around a decade later, it diversified into an industry which went on to become synonymous within the country, at least till the 90s. The company shut shop in 2016. Around the 70s, the PSU diversified into another product or industry on the back of a major technological change that came about in some regions of the country. An artist belonging to one of these regions had a special affection towards a model manufactured by them and ended up naming his business Endeavor after it. This artist gained international recognition in his genre but also became notorious for frequent controversies. When he had a legal run in with the authorities, he released a single drawing parallels between him and the subject of a film from last decade. So we need the PSU in this. So the PSU, which started as a machine tools manufacturing company and then diversified into other industries, we need the industry that they diversified into. So for that, focus on the second paragraph, which product or industry that they diversified into. If you think about the major technological changes around that time, you will be able to get to the product. And who did the artist compare himself to? So if you look at the third paragraph, you'll be able to arrive at the comparison.
Just a question. In the last paragraph, when you mentioned subject of a film from the last decade, you mean like as in 2010 to 2020?
2010 to 2020 wala decade.
But to be specific, we're talking about a Bollywood movie from the last decade.
How many parts are there? So we have to identify PSU and
In
Yeah,
the first
so
part, you have to identify the PSU, and in the second part, we need the industry and the artist.
both industry and artist.
yes.
Okay.
Not the artist, the person. This basically, in second part, we need you to tell us what the industry or the product was, which the PSU diversified into, and who was the artist comparing himself to. Giving both these would fetch you 1 point, and 1 point for the PSU, which you have to identify.
If there aren't any other doubts in this question, I think we can move on.
Just could you just wait for a bit because this last bit is kind of confusing. This artist doesn't have anything to do with the industry or the PSU, right? It's just a separate question.
No. So if you see the second paragraph, the artist named their business endeavor after a model from the company. So think about that. Think about the regions that the technological change came about in, and I think you'll get to the artist and the product as well. Okay, I think we can move on now. When a fast food chain primarily operating on the West Coast was deciding on the design and layout of its stores, the founders decided to incorporate an element to reflect their Californian origins. This also doubled up as a reference to something central to the founders' favorite movie, a 1960s comedy which has inspired several remakes. The most popular remake, Closer Home, gave way to two sequel movies, the last of which released in 2019 to a very underwhelming response. There are images in the next slide. So we need you to identify the original movie that the founder based the design on. We need you to identify the Bollywood remake and the element of the plot which inspired this design of the stores. So the first part is identifying the original movie, and the second part is both the Bollywood remake as well as the element of the plot.
And when we say that this was the most popular remake, Closer Home, what we mean to say is that Closer Home, there have been multiple remakes of this movie. Out of these remakes, the Bollywood remakes, the one that we're talking about is without a doubt the most popular one.
Okay, I think we can move on to the next question. The name of this flower comes from Greek mythology. This narcotic flower was the only food available in one of the phases of death for perpetual hunger and darkness. Interestingly, the scientific name of the flower is also reference to another Greek myth about a hunter and his death, which gave birth to these beautiful flowers. So we need the common name of the flower and the scientific name, which was inspired by another Greek myth about the hunter and his death. Okay, I think if there aren't any doubts, we can move on to the next question. The given clip is from a music video by a famous English indie rock band. The faces in this video keep morphing into a new face every 7 seconds. This was seen as a very smart concept for the video, considering the technical feature which was available in the 2010s. So, Sujit, is the video available? Can I play?
Yeah, for some reason I'm unable to share it. Shruti will be sharing it just in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, just give me a minute and I'll start sharing.
Meanwhile, we'd request everyone to fill in the answers to the rest of the questions. Once we show the three video-based questions, we'll have a very quick and brisk rerun. Then we won't really give you a lot of time to type in your answers. So this would be a good time for you to do that.
So I'll be sharing my screen and we'll be starting with question number 4. So this is a clip from Netflix Stranger Things. One of the characters here is shown being strangled by a bat-like creature, and he gets rid of the creature's hold with a heavy metal move. You have to identify which heavy metal move or pop culture incident from the early 80s are they referring to.
The video is framing a lot. Can't really make out what's happening.
Just a second.
I mean, it's not smooth.
Should I play it again? I'll try just a second. I'll try playing the video again. If it's but just focus on how the person being strangled gets rid from the creature.
Do you want a specific reference or a general reference of what?
We want a specific reference on how this person pulled a heavy metal move, which referred to an incident from the early 80s. The fact that
Could contain one proper noun. If that's what you're looking for, we need one proper noun.
And the fact and the sentence that one of the characters here is shown is being strangled by a bat-like creature, it might help guessing. We should move on to the next video question, which is this one. This video shows a unique collaboration between two legendary personalities. We'll show you the video and then someone from our side will explain it to you.
So let's play the video one more time.
Okay. Arush will explain.
Just go back to the question slide.
Just
Right. So this is basically a unique collaboration between two very legendary personalities. It is unique in its production that it originally only began in 1945, but the production ceased not long after. And the film was ultimately completed and released in 2003, almost 58 years since it was originally started. After it released, it got nominated for Best Animated Short Film later that year. So there are a lot of hints when you look at the clip we've shown as to who might be collaborating. So I want you to tell me what two personalities collaborated to produce this short film. Throughout the clip, there are clues, I would say, to identify the personality involved.
should we move on to the next question?
Yeah. Yeah, I think you can move to the 20th question.
So the third video question that we have is question number 20.
Please keep in mind this question has 2 pointer and a star mark question as well.
Tracy, could you explain?
I'll play the video and then
Yeah. Play the video first.
Just like Johnny Lynn said, the breath I've taken.
Yeah, okay, so in the video you could see there were faces changing, like morphing into other faces every 7 seconds. So what we need is the band's name and the funda behind why 7 seconds, basically. If you get to the band's name, you'll get to the technical feature as well.
Could you please
So,
play it again? It was breaking up a lot.
yeah, so the audio should be helpful to get to the band, and then if you get to the band, you get to the funda as well.
We can't hear the audio at all.
You can hear the audio in the clip.
should I try playing it again?
Yeah, I could hear it. I don't know.
I also could hear it, but
Yeah.
I'll play it once more.
Yes.
All right, so I think we've stayed long enough for this question. We'll begin with the rerun. So would request everyone to start keying in their responses and sending it. We'll move on to question number 19 now. Question number 19, we're talking about a flower here, and give us a common name which is inspired from a Greek mythology and the scientific name. If you want 2 points, you'll have to give us both. Moving on to question 18. Question 18 talks about restaurant chain in West Coast, the design of which was inspired from a 60s comedy from Hollywood. This had a remake in Bollywood as well. So we're looking for the original movie, the most popular Bollywood remake of this original movie, and a very key element from the Bollywood movie, which has featured in the design and layout of these stores. That would fetch you the full 2 points. Moving on to the previous question, question number 17. So a bit of a longish question. We'll wait for a few more seconds here. It's a three-parter. The first part, we're looking for a PSU which started as a machine tools manufacturing company. Then it went on to become very synonymous with an industry in India, which probably people a little older than me would remember. For the remaining two parts, think of a technological development that happened in India, but only affected some regions in India. So on the back of that, this PSU diversified into another product line, another category of products. One such product was a favorite of a very young artist. Now, this artist gained a lot of recognition internationally as well, but had some trouble with the authorities, had some legal run-ins. As a result of that, he made a song and he compared himself with the protagonist, the subject of a film from the last decade. So need the three parts on this. Question number 16. Need the athlete and
hello. Can you go back to the question number 17? Just 5 seconds.
Sure. Let's go to question 17 for a quick second.
What other industry they'd advise?
Let's move on to question 16. So looking for an athlete here, and tell us what the four bridges on the watch depict. Question 15. So looking for a song here from the 2000s and the 1940s painting. Question 14. So there was a petition in the late 1950s about something controversial. You have the entire story in the question. We're looking for the name of the town or tell us what exactly are we talking about. Either works. Both would be the same. Question 13. So we're talking about two services here, which have a very similar utility. One which became popular in 2017, then ended up winding up because of some issues related to data leaks, and a similar service which became extremely popular in the recent month or so. So tell us what these two services are. 0.5 for each. Question number 12. Looking for the designer and the brand. A designer who is also an ex-Vogue editor, most famous for her signature bridal collection. Think of the most famous person you would associate with signature bridal collections, and a brand which featured her among other four people who were the tribute for a particular collection, a special edition, which they called a special tribute collection. So give us both the parts. Question 11. Tell us what this practice was supposed to be a defense against. You see that the young girls, they were made to wear nose plugs and their face was inked. This served a particular purpose. That is how this practice originated. Tell us what was the origin of this practice, or why exactly did this practice start? Question 10. So you see a caricature here. This caricature was named something by the cartoonist as a play on a phrase, as well as an accessory, which is very much associated with the subject of the caricature. Tell us what the phrase was and the subject. This is a star mark question. Question 9. You saw the video. You have to tell us the two personalities who were involved in the ideation of this film, who made this film, which ended up getting completed some 58 years later. The timeline is quite helpful. Question number 8. We're looking for the name of the actor and the author. Plenty of hints for the author. And think of actor. Not a lot of actors for whom this description would fit, but this is a very apt description for what was to follow in his career. Question number 7. we're looking for the DT and the mini series it very famously featured in. Again, something very recent. Not a lot of very popular mini series which have been around. Figure out which would fit the bill. Question number 6. Tell us what the purpose was. What was this? The purpose behind this activity that the dolphins were performing? Something which humans also perform. Question number 5. A star mark question. Simply tell us what the name of the sale was. So it was a reference to the category of food on which the discounts were imposed, and also a very famous European dance form. So this would lead you towards the name of the sale. Question number 4. You saw the video. This is a reference to something which happened in the world of pop culture, like a pop culture incident, something which became quite infamous. What incident was this exactly? We are looking for one proper noun here. Moving to question number 3. So we're talking about an ancient form of punishment, something very horrendous, something very gruesome. Tell us what this ancient punishment is. There are multiple names which is given to the ancient punishment. Either would work, and also fill in the blank, which should be an 8-letter blank. 8-letter blank excluding the S. So together it would be a 9-letter word. But looking for a common noun in the blank. Question number 2. So question number 2 is you saw the images, pretty popular faces there. You have to tell us what was this a reference to, something from the world of Mela, right? See these 3 images. Tell us what was this a reference to. And question number 1. So a very good, interesting story. Tell us what was the reason behind all this story. Why did these people have to memorize or be familiar with soap opera storylines? That would do. So this was question number 1. Let's move. Yeah. Thank you, Shruti. We'll wait for the next 30 seconds. And this would be the window for you to submit your forms. Please start submitting the forms. And meanwhile, if someone could open up the form and be ready to close it.
Yeah, I am on it. Closing the form in 15 seconds.
Could you just show question 18 again, please? Sorry.
We won't be able to, because that would again mean it was a lot of time. You could see the question if you're facing any difficulty with the order. But unfortunately we wouldn't be able to go to question number 18. All right. Last
Sorry, just
5.
Just give us 5 minutes.
Sure. We'll wait for another 7-8 seconds. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wait, Shruti, don't close it yet. Last call. I really hope everyone has submitted. All right. Close the form, Shruti. We'll quickly discuss the answers as well. Give us a minute while we sort that out.
Before we go to the answers, I would like to call Upasha, who is here with us from the Northeast Students Association.
Hi, Shruti. Can you hear me?
Hi. Yes.
Hello, everybody. My name is Upasha, and I am the outgoing president of the Northeast Students Association of Sri Venkateshwara College. I am sick myself, so I'll not take much of your time, but I would just like to take this opportunity to thank the Conquistadors, the Quiz Society of our college. Rarely do we see initiatives from or by people outside of the Northeast for those within the Northeast. So I'm really grateful that they wanted to collaborate with us. And once again, thank you to all of you who have participated and donated, hopefully, for this fund. And hopefully we'll raise a good amount of money so that we can take these to the flood affected areas. If you are in Delhi and live near Sri Venkateshwara College, we are also taking donations like clothing and all other materials that can be transported to Assam. So please do keep donating, and thank you. Thank you, conquistadors. That's it.
So we'll be starting with the answers. Just a second. So you can unmute yourselves and prompt the answers. We will move them. We will move to question number 1.
Feel free to unmute yourselves and shout out the answers.
So what was the reason for this sudden increase in the electrical grid, aside from the televisions being on themselves? What could be the reason for this? Does anyone know?
To make popcorn or something, microwaves and stuff would use energy.
Not that.
So it's basically making tea.
That is correct.
And also the second reason is that people go to the bathroom, so they flush and there's a impact on the reservoirs.
That really wasn't what we're looking for, but we were looking for basically to plug in electric kettles to make tea, a very British thing to do.
Wait, just a question.
Ew.
Yeah, just on question 1, guys. So we put in something like ad breaks causing you to use other devices. Would that suffice or not really?
Not exactly. I want the main reason why is because they do it during commercial breaks, but I want electric kettles. I want it for tea. That's why United Kingdom and the British National
Yeah. No, fair enough.
Just a second, I'll share the slides again. I'm so sorry.
While we wait till we go to question number 2, if anyone has given answers for question number 2, so be sure that you censor the part you should censor. Please be careful about that.
So this was the answer for question number 1. People would use their electric kettles to make tea during commercial breaks. So we have question number 2. We want the reference for these images.
Black Jesus.
No, not really. Not Black Jesus. Yeah, that would be Michael Jordan. Not
Thriller.
Nothing to do with Thriller either. Although that is the picture is from Thriller, but no, not Thriller.
Thriller in Manila.
Not Thriller in Manila either. Any other guesses for this?
Answered in chat.
Yeah, this is. Let's move on to the answer slide. This is the iconic Jay-Z and Kanye West collaboration, and it has the lyric "Take your pick, Jackson, Tyson, Jordan, Game 6." Made all the sense for Klay Thompson, who is the player in question, to use it because he is known to perform extremely well in Game 6 situations. So that was answer 2. Great answer to whoever got it correct. On to question 3.
3, you have to identify this ancient Greek punishment and you have to fill in the blanks.
Escapism.
Second was the blank is charcoals.
Not
charcoals.
Iron Maidens and Gargoyles.
Sorry.
Brazen bull and bracelets.
That is the correct answer. This is indeed brazen bull, and the offenders were transformed into bracelets. Nice answer.
Would metal bull accepted? Metal bull, would it be accepted?
If it comes to tiebreakers, we would consider it, but none of the variations is metal bull exactly. Although we'll recheck it. If we see that metal bull is a variation of it, we'll give you points. Otherwise, if it comes to a tiebreaker, we'll give you points on that in that situation.
Okay.
You were shown of the video of a person trying to get rid of a bat-like creature. What was this pop culture?
Ozzy Osbourne biting off a bat's head.
That is the correct answer. Ozzy Osbourne biting a bat during his concert. And the character Steve Harrington also biting a
Wait,
bat.
just one thing. There was no biting of any bat in the video.
If you see closely, Steve Harrington was being strangled. And they had
There's
to
for a
bite.
very short time in that entire clip, Steve, when he's lying down, he bites the bat and then gets off. He gets it off. It was there, but it was very subtle.
Guys,
360p video.
Isn't this also linked to Pete Townshend smashing his guitar? Because that's the action that they perform in the rest of the clip.
So what we did mention very clearly, we mentioned a specific incident, which would be the bat which was strangling the character. So that is what we're looking for. Yes, there was that also, but this is the reference that we're looking for. That's why we specified what part in the video exactly we want you to focus on.
Cool.
Question number 5, what was the sale named? And also gives named after a dance form.
Is this a can-can?
This is the can-can sale, named after the dance can-can. Nice answer. This. Actions by dolphins rubbing onto corals. What purpose?
Basically scrubbing, skincare.
Skincare is what we're looking for. Skincare is the answer. You have to identify the Egyptian deity and the superhero franchise series.
Excuse me, for the previous question,
Moon Knight.
if we elaborate and write exfoliation, does that work? Because technically that's what they're doing. They're exfoliating themselves.
I mean, but we needed skincare because they just don't do that just for exfoliating. They use it for pharmaceutical purposes as well. So skincare would be a more broad answer.
Yeah, but that's literally what they're doing, right?
We'll discuss on this, and we might give you part points for that.
For this, someone answered Moon Knight, which is correct. Can anyone answer for the Egyptian deity?
It's Tabarat.
Sorry.
I couldn't hear the answer.
It's Tabarat.
The voice is not audible.
We'll move on to the answer. Started and by Moon Knight. Next question. You have to name the actor from the 80s DD National and the woman author.
It's SRK and Arundhati Roy.
That is the exact answer. It's Shah Rukh Khan and Arundhati Roy. You saw the video and you have to identify the two personalities who collaborated for this.
This is Walt Disney and Dali, I guess.
Was Walt Disney and Salvador Dali.
That is the correct answer. It's Walt Disney and Salvador Dali. You have to identify the
Margaret Thatcher and the Milk Snatcher.
Well, the subject, right? Not the phrase, though. There's something else. The
Old
phrase.
bag.
Yeah, this is old bag. Obviously, this was a bag. She was famous for always having a bag with her. Hence, old bag. Let's move on to the next one. So we are looking for a practice. Like we are looking for the reason behind this practice. Any guesses for this one?
So basically to make them ugly so that they don't get kidnapped.
Yeah, pretty much that. Men being problematic since time immemorial. So the neighboring tribesmen would abduct these women who are known for their beauty. So they had to resort to this practice. It was eventually banned by the government so that people from this tribe could also move out and do well for themselves. Question number 12. Near design and the brand.
Was the brand Gucci?
Not
No.
Gucci. Design. Anyone else? Any other brand?
Is it Dior?
Not
No.
Dior.
Is it
Vogue?
Prada?
Not Vogue.
Vogue is already mentioned. Think of something else, like a brand which should pay tribute to women more often.
Like
Sabyasachi.
Nike?
Don't say.
No, not Nike, not Sabyasachi.
Victoria's Secret by any means?
No. All good guesses, but not what you're looking for.
Any guesses for the designer?
Is this Anna Wintour?
Is the designer Vera Wang?
Vera Wang is the designer, not Anna Wintour, and the brand that featured her. I think
we can move on here to the answer.
This was Barbie, and Vera Wang's model was one of the 4 in their special tribute collection.
Nice question. Nice.
You have to guess, identify the 2 services.
So the first one is Sarah Ha or Sarah Ha Ha, whatever.
That is correct. And the second one, the recent one,
NGL.
NGL is the correct answer. This is Sarah and NGL.
Is it Maggie by any means?
So you have to identify which town or what was released.
Nothing to do with Maggie. Think of
Kellogg's.
1950s.
Kellogg's?
No, not Kellogg's. No brand. Nothing to do with a brand. Unfortunately, the wrong drift.
Something to do with Apollo 11 on the
Not
pre-era.
Apollo 11.
Alcoholic beverages, some like tequila.
No, nothing to do with tequila either. So think of something else. Something from a different industry altogether. Something from the late 50s.
Copper tea is like the contraceptive.
No, nothing to do with any of these. I think we should move on to the answer.
It's the book Lolita, yeah.
Yes, this is Lolita. Lolita was written in 1955 and published in 1955. And Texas had a village by the name of Lolita. And after that, they felt that they should change their name. And even in India, when Lolita was to be sold, the export commission, they didn't want the book to be sold. So the publishers challenged this and appealed this. And the Prime Minister, Jawaharlal Nehru, he had to step in, read it, and then give his opinion and tell whether this is good enough for the Indian consumers to consume or not. Now, question number 15. You were supposed to identify the song and the painting.
Is the painting the Salvador Dali's The Persistence of Memory by any means?
No, not Dali's Persistence of
Painting
Memory.
is Nighthawks by Edward Hopper.
That would be correct. This is Nighthawks by Hopper. Any guesses for the song?
Boulevard of Broken Dreams.
Yeah, this is Boulevard of Broken Dreams. So the parody of Nighthawks is also called Boulevard of Broken Dreams. Features some celebrities, Presley, Monroe, James Dean. So they all had some really unfortunate deaths, and that prompted Green Day to name it after it. So next question, question 16. Good answer on the previous one, whoever got it. What athlete is this?
Is
And
this Usain Bolt?
No, this is not Bolt.
Mark Spitz?
No, not him either. Look at the name. Mark of the
Question
Beast.
15
Is it
was?
Johann Blake?
Yeah, this is Johann Blake. Johann Blake's nickname is the Beast. So hence Mark of the Beast. And what would the second part be? What
Is
would
that
the
his claw celebration thing?
Not his claw celebration thing? Would give you points for that because like we're looking for something a little more general than that.
Okay.
So move on to the answer side. This is basically supposed to depict how his hands look while he's running. So athletes usually have their fingers extended while they're running. So this was supposed to depict that. But since you've mentioned hands, you get points. Move on to question 17. Yeah, so the big question in the quiz.
This one was HMT.
HMT and tractors. In
Okay.
70s.
Yeah.
HMT and tractors. What would the third part be?
The artist is Sidhu Moosewala.
Yeah.
But we're not looking for the artist. We asked who did the artist compare himself to. So
Is it Jarnail Singh Bhindranwale?
no, not really, not him. A biopic was released in the last decade in Bollywood. Did very good for itself in the theaters.
Bhag Milkha Bhag.
Not Bhag Milkha Bhag. Yeah, someone answered it in the chat. This is Sanju. So Sanjay Dutt had quite similar situation in terms of being in
He picked up guns. Like
yeah, exactly.
Do you give points for agriculture?
No, not really. Agriculture is not. We told you that there was a model, it was a product. So agriculture is too broad an answer for us to consider.
Okay.
All right. So HMT tractors and Sanjay Dutt. Question 18.
The remake is welcome to the element is the letter W.
Good guess, but not it.
Amal and the letter W and the letter W.
Yeah, all parts correct. So move on to the answer side. This is the Bollywood remake is Dhamal, and it had the famous W. It was taken from It's a Mad, Mad, Mad World, which is the first film to show this, and that has resulted in a lot of remakes. And In-N-Out Burger, one of the founders of In-N-Out Burger, his favorite movie was It's a Mad, Mad, Mad World, and hence thought that he should pay tribute to the movie in the design of its roast.
Are there exactly 4 men?
Hey, just one thing.
Yeah.
Could you go back to the question, the Nighthawks question?
Yeah, sure. Let's move to question 15 once.
Could you please say 14 and 15 could you show on just once?
Yeah, sure.
15.
15. Do you want us to stay on the question or the answer?
The answer is the song Boulevard of Broken Dreams, and the question 14 could you show us?
Yeah, sure. Let's move to question 14 as well.
Oh, yeah.
Right. All right. Let's move to question 19 now. We're done with 18 as well. Let's move to question 19. All right. So need the common and scientific name for a flower. What was this? The second part is quite workable. Think of a Greek myth about a hunter and his death, a self-inflicted death. Who would it be?
Narcissus and daffodils.
Yeah, this is Narcissus and daffodils. And finally, moving to question number 20.
Is this Alt J and the rewind option in YouTube? 7 seconds.
That would be absolutely correct. This is the shortcut in YouTube, which was Alt plus J and Alt J. That was the prelims. Thank you so much for showing up for the prelims. We will go through the responses, and in a little over an hour, we'll be ready with the list of finalists. The finals would be happening today itself, and we're looking to have a 7:15, 7:30 start. So, and we're looking to wrap it up in around 2 hours. So do join in for that. We will be allowing spectators for the quiz as well. So we'll send a Zoom link on the WhatsApp groups. Stay tuned till then. And thank you so much for showing up. If you want to donate more to the cause, you have our UPI IDs, or you could head to our social media page. You'll have all the details there. And we
also have 2 more quizzes in our fundraiser event, which is an open MENA quiz and an open India quiz happening today and tomorrow with many quiz setters, amazing quiz setters. It would be nice if you could participate in that as well. Thank you.
Jeevnesh, could we stop the stream?
Yeah.